Yesterday, before Trump met with Modi, I made a video saying that Trump would not treat Modi with courtesy. The US government has seen through India's strength. It boasts of being one of the world's top countries, but has almost no hard power. Modi's visit to the US was not initiated by the US, but operated by the Indian government. It hopes that Modi and Trump will meet as soon as possible to strengthen the so-called democratic alliance value between India and the United States. Of course, Trump has threatened India many times, demanding that the Indian government make substantial concessions to the United States on a number of major interests, otherwise India will be punished. Modi believes that he has a good personal friendship with Trump because Trump had a friendly meeting with Modi during his first term. At that time, Modi was very proud of his speech, boasting about India's strength and the friendship between the two countries, while Trump stood aside with a smile, showing a caring look for the mentally retarded. However, Modi may not know that Trump has too many friends. Kim Jong-un, Putin, Xi Jinping, and others are all his good friends. But there are two important hard indicators to become Trump's good friends. 1. The US government has interests that need their help to achieve. 2. These people are beyond the control of the United States and do not obey the control of the US government. Therefore, if the US government needs Cuba or Venezuela one day, Trump will immediately have new friends. But in fact, Trump called Modi a good friend because of his lack of political experience. When he first became president, he thought India was a very powerful ally. But India's incompetence and weakness in confronting China, and its behavior of stealing American interests economically, made Trump no longer regard Modi as a friend. So when he invited Xi Jinping, Modi was ruthlessly ignored by him. During Modi's visit to the United States, Trump did not show respect for equal allies. India is obviously not as important as the Five Eyes Alliance, Europe, and Russia. Trump even took the initiative to humiliate India, announced the imposition of reciprocal tariffs on India, and accused India of being the country with the heaviest tariffs in the world. What's more terrible is that he slapped Modi in the face in front of the whole world. When an Indian reporter asked how the United States could defeat China if the United States imposed tariffs on India, it would weaken the alliance against China. Trump directly replied that the United States has the strength to defeat any country, but he does not intend to defeat anyone. The meaning is very clear. The United States has enough strength to fight against China. India should not always regard itself as an important role. With India's strength, it is of no help to the United States. Make concessions to the United States honestly, otherwise you will be taught a lesson by the big stick. The United States has no idea of defeating China at present. It still needs Xi Jinping's help in many things, which are not the right of Indians to ask. When Trump said this, Modi was standing beside him. I think he was very embarrassed. The Indian media always regards itself as the world's largest democracy and the democratic ally of the United States. In fact, the United States has long been fed up with India's illegal immigrants, the poor technical level of Indian engineers, and India's large-scale telecommunications fraud against the United States. The people of the Bharat Empire have no self-awareness at all. They have no idea that India is the watchdog of Western countries. Getting some dog food is already the highest reward. Don't always think about interacting with the master on an equal footing. What is even more humiliating for Modi and the Bharat Empire is that an Indian reporter asked a question in Curry English, and Trump didn't hear it clearly after listening twice. He interrupted the reporter's question directly, saying that he didn't understand it at all, canceled his opportunity to ask questions, and let other reporters continue. Yes, Trump had no respect for Modi standing next to him. He directly humiliated the Indian's self-proclaimed good English accent. In fact, Indian society is very strange. From professional hosts to government officials, to university professors and students, they all insist on using an obscure and unpleasant accent. If it were a few decades ago, when technology was backward and people had limited means of obtaining information, this phenomenon could still be understood. But now, As long as they are willing, they can open YouTube, TikTok, or some English learning apps and watch more American movies and cartoons. Although they may not reach the spoken level of Americans, at least they will not make people feel bored after listening. You are visiting the United States on behalf of India. If your English level is not up to standard, you can hire some interpreters with good accents. This is basic respect for the United States. No one has time to adapt to your curry English. If you are unwilling to give the United States even basic respect, how can you expect Americans to respect you? If the Bharat Empire does not have professional interpreters, the U.S. government can provide them for you. You can speak Hindi or other various Indian dialects, and American interpreters can help you translate. Is this okay? As an international journalist accompanying the Prime Minister on a visit, if you are not willing to improve your spoken English, why do you want to do this job? To be honest, I was very opposed to Trump's arrogance, but seeing the various behaviors of Indians in the United States, I can understand his impatience. He took time out to receive Modi so that Modi could fulfill the various demands he put forward. On this basis, he is willing to give Modi some courtesy vanity. He has no time to explain to the Indians why he cannot offend China now. Before he meets Xi Jinping and completes the negotiations, he will not say anything bad to stimulate China. He wants to make a big deal, and this deal is in his mind to benefit the interests of the United States. For this deal, he can put everything on the shelf and sell it to Xi Jinping in a package, including India's national interests. If the strength of the United States is 100 points, China may be 70 points, Russia is 50 points, and India's strength may be 5 points. Trump has no need to offend China for the dispensable 5 points. Even if the United States wants to have a high-intensity confrontation with China in the future, India will not be able to help the United States. In Trump's mind, the world powers are only China and Russia. Even the European Union is just a pawn in his eyes. He is a realistic businessman and has no time to discuss illusory democratic values with Indians. The only thing the Bharat Empire can do is to fully agree to the US's demands and implement them seriously, otherwise the big stick will hit its head at any time. I have emphasized many times in previous videos that Trump's return to the White House marks the transition of international politics to the law of the jungle, and everything depends on strength. You are either at the table or on the menu. Weak countries will not have a say. Ukraine has been abandoned by Trump, and his talks with Putin even bypassed Europe. In front of the national interests of the United States, what is India? Allies such as Anglo-Saxon countries, Israel, NATO, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, and opponents such as Russia and China are qualified to make conditions for the United States. What qualifications does India have? Pay more money, buy more weapons, prepare dog food by yourself, and be a watchdog for the United States. When to show your teeth to China, you must get the master's order. If you bark without the master's order, you will be beaten with a stick.